For those of us who suspect that Donald Trump could be the Antichrist, it's always of interest whenever he drops a hint of a Bible verse upon us. He's done that several times over the past year or two, either wittingly or unwittingly, and to paraphrase Brittany Spears, oops, he did it again. Last week, Trump had a bit of a rambling comment about forts, which is eerily similar to what the Bible says about the Antichrist and fortresses. Here's a short video clip of what Trump said.
Won 2 world wars, we won world wars out of forts. Fort Benning, Fort this, Fort that, many forts. They changed the name. We won wars out of these forts. They changed the name. They changed the name of the forts. A lot of people aren't too happy about that. Defeated, he said, unacceptable, yeah. No, they changed the name of a lot of our forts. We won 2 world wars out of a lot of these forts, and they changed the name. It's unbelievable.
His words are reminiscent of Daniel 11:38, which in most translations talks about how the Antichrist will honor a god of fortresses. Thus we have the man who already matches the other biblical descriptions for the Antichrist, also being overly focused on fortresses. This verse helps us understand that the Antichrist loves the power and strength of fortresses, and he will eventually use the exceedingly fearful might of his nation to go out conquering and to conquer. After all, there's a reason that no one can fight the beast. But there are also a number of other examples of Trump speaking in ways that remind us of Bible prophecy. A couple of weeks back, he posted a comment on Truth Social about our once great and soon to be great again country. This remark is strikingly similar to Revelation 17:8 and 17:11, which talks about the beast that was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. His constant refrain of making America great is also a reminder of Revelation 18:2, which says, Babylon the Great is fallen. None of this is new, of course. Last summer, Trump caused a stir with his reference to the Unpardonable Sin, which I spoke about in a video from back then. Here's a short clip from that video. In a Truth Social post today, Donald Trump referenced the unpardonable sin, although he seems to define it a bit differently than does the Bible. Here is what he said. For all of those media fools who said everything was on the up and up with the 2020 presidential election, and then go on to report about the 51 intelligence agents that wrote a letter spreading disinformation about Hunter Biden's famous laptop computer, knowing it was fake and treasonous, just days before the election, you have committed an unpardonable sin. That election fraud is no different than stuffing the ballot boxes or any of the other many crimes committed in the 2020 election. So sad. The Bible itself mentions the unpardonable sin in 2 places, in Matthew 12 and in Mark 3. In both instances, the unpardonable sin is defined as blaspheming against the Holy Ghost. In Trump's mind, however, the unpardonable sin involves the 2020 election, and in case anyone is missing his underlying message, the sin is against him. He is the one who has been blasphemed against. The odd capitalization of the word sin is also a clear indication of how deadly serious Trump is, especially after yet again referencing treason in the previous sentence. As we know, Trump has repeatedly talked about how the penalty for treason should be death. From all indications, Donald Trump has an enemies list a mile long, and it consists of anyone and everyone who has criticized him, opposed him, or disputed his claim that he won the 2020 election. When he returns to power, whenever and however that happens, you can be sure that at some point his political allies will pursue treason charges against his perceived enemies. It will be the ultimate payback from a man who values revenge as much as he does loyalty. After all, if there is one thing we know about Donald Trump, it's that he is an incredibly vindictive man. And if you commit the unpardonable sin against him, you will pay the ultimate price. Trump's usage of the words unpardonable sin today is just the latest example of how biblical language and even the characteristics of Jesus are being attributed to him, either by his supporters or, in this case, himself. Christian Trump supporters need to wake up, because slowly but surely, Donald Trump is putting himself on the same level as Jesus, and he is looking to replace Jesus in their hearts and minds. But in case anyone didn't notice before his talking about the unpardonable sin, Trump has made numerous allusions to Bible prophecy and himself as Savior. I talked about that in a different video from last summer, and here's a reminder of how he's already mocked Bible prophecy. In the past few weeks, we have seen and heard Trump using language that would seem to mock Bible prophecy. A few weeks back, he posted on Truth Social that he will bring peace to the world, which, coincidentally, I'm sure, is similar to how the Antichrist will promote his covenant with many as finally bringing us peace and security. Then, after his latest indictment, Trump posted that his campaign had raised more than $6.6 million, which the New York Post helpfully added was achieved in 6 days. Then we had Trump referencing 2024 as the final battle in speeches and using the words final battle to solicit donations. Such words, of course, resonate with his evangelical supporters who see him as a force for good in the battle of good versus evil. And then Trump made a curious reference to his supporters as being a small group, which is fascinating since Daniel 11:23 specifically tells us that the Antichrist will become strong with a small group of people. Here's that clip.
Our enemies are desperate to stop us because they know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones that can do it. Small group, relatively small group, but we can stop them cold, and we will. And we would have had them stop cold, and they know that.
If all of that wasn't enough, we had Trump making several references to the seal being broken, which many took to understand that he was referencing the Bible. But perhaps Trump's biggest mockery of the Bible was in a Truth Social post after he was indicted. In that post, Trump said the following: America went to sleep last night with tears in its eyes. Someday soon, however, it will be able to wipe away those tears and smile, bigger than ever before, for we will have defeated the radical left Marxist, fascist, communist, lunatics, and deranged maniacs, and cleared the path to put America first, and then quickly make America great again. In case that sounds vaguely familiar to you, the Bible actually says this: And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. What makes it unnerving about Trump's post that America will wipe away its own tears is that Trump and his supporters have repeatedly conflated America with Trump. He is basically saying that he will wipe away every tear. In fact, just yesterday on Truth Social, Trump posted a link to an article on DCEnquirer.com, a pro-Trump site, in which the author states this: Loyalty to Trump is loyalty to the United States Constitution. We can plainly see that this ultra-patriotism that is spreading like a virus throughout Christianity is not just the idolatry of a country, but combines that with the cult of personality surrounding Trump. The view is that Trump is America, and America is Trump. And when this idolatry of America and adulation of Trump is combined with viewing him as being persecuted, the end result is that his supporters will do whatever it takes to restore him to power and eventually do anything he asks. After all, in the eyes of those who love him, Trump is taking all the slings and arrows for us. He has sacrificed everything for us. They're coming after him, and yet he is innocent. He is blameless. He is our Savior. Thank you for watching, and if videos about Bible prophecy and specifically the Antichrist are of interest to you, please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. If you care to leave a comment, please do. However, remember to be respectful in any comment you leave, especially towards those with whom you disagree. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.